Greetings everyone, this is another amazing game from FIDE Swiss 2025. With the white pieces we have Erdogmus, Yagiz Kaan, and with the black pieces we have Levon Aronian. Definitely a clash, battle of generations. I mean, Levon is so experienced, and with current form, winning so many tournaments in 2025, he's in top form. But the problem is that time control is not suiting him, because you have to understand it's a long tournament, still 3 more rounds to go. And you have to understand that you get like starting, you get 1 hour 40 minutes, then after 40 moves you get 50 minutes, then after 60 moves you get more 15 minutes. So it's a really long tournament. Games could last up to 8 hours, 9 hours. It's insane, and that's why maybe not really suited for him. He would be like normal classical would be absolutely fine for him. He plays there spectacularly, but let's see how he's able to do against this 14-year-old Prodigy. Just e4 by him, we have e6 by Levon, d4, d5, we go into the French, knight to c3, this is the normal variation, bishop to b4, and just e5, c5 now, bishop to d2, knight to e7, and you could go for a very nice move with queen to g4, but after castles you don't have as much as you think you do. If you go for a move like bishop to h6, it just completely blunders the game, because knight to g6 you could go with the bishop back, c captures, bishop captures, and the trouble is that your position is completely now lost, because the development would be coming in faster than you think, and black has solved basically all his French problems, and he doesn't have to worry about anything. But here after knight to e7 we just have simple a3, not going for all of these madness. Bishop captures, b6 now, but now just comes h4, bishop to a6, asking for a bishop trade, and here Yagiz basically agrees. He goes for bishop captures, knight captures, and just h5, and this h4 is just absolutely crazy in French. Now just comes h6, knight to f3, and just going for this rook to c8. And with this, just because of this move and this, actually you'll see how bad Levon's position actually becomes later in the future. Here queen to e2, but now just comes this knight to b8, g4, queen to d7 was played, but just bishop to d2, and now he's pushed it all the way. He has decided to keep his king in the center against a really experienced player, but you can see Levon's pieces are not that very great. He still has to castle, still has to figure out what to do about his position, whether to castle or not, because an attack is definitely brewing, and what to do in this position is definitely difficult to actually calculate. So here the c captures was played, but just comes this bishop to b4, and what do you even do in this position? Rook to c4 was tried, getting the rook into the game. Rook lifts, obviously whenever you're trying to place your rook in the center of the board, is obviously good, but still I mean, there is no clear idea as to what to do in this position. Here just rook to g1, knight to a6, and just b3, pushing the rook back. We just have just d3, a very nice in between move. Here just c captures was played, rook to c8, and now just comes this very nice bishop to d6, and that bishop there is very strong. Still, engine doesn't give it that much of a valuation. It's still 0.6, but again, it could turn out really bad really fast, and you have to be extremely careful here. Knight to c5 was played by Levon. We just have b4 by Yagiz, and here just knight to a4, queen to d2, f6 now. But here in this position just knight to h4 was played, and you can understand that there are insane things that could happen in this position. If you play a move like king to f7 in this position, your position is completely crumbles apart, because here after bishop captures, queen captures, knight to g6, and yeah, I mean, you're just losing an exchange. And the trouble of it all is, once you move the queen, that capture is coming in with actually check, and that's the problem, because here you could have captured and you would have been able to pick up the rook here, but the trouble is you cannot even do that now. Once, even if you move the king instead of just capturing here, I mean, the knight to g6 comes in, and that's also defending the pawn, so that's just absolutely bad. So you're gonna have to capture the knight, and yeah, you just lose the exchange for apparently nothing. But after knight to h4 we have castles, and in this position just bishop captures, queen caps on e7, and the knight jumps in with the similar idea of going for the exchange. But in this position actually there is an idea, which is queen to c7, and that's why here knight caps on f8 doesn't work, because you have queen captures on e5 with the check very nicely, as I told you earlier, connecting with the rook. And after this king to f1, queen captures, king to g2, and queen to d4, your position is amazing. Yes, you can get the knight back, but that doesn't matter. All those pawns, knight, rook, everything is just eyeing, and you can see that the king is very weak. Although this looks very scary, but you have to understand that I mean, once I move the rook, you have nothing in the position, and my position is absolutely amazing. So Levon would absolutely enjoy this. But here after queen to c7, king to f1 was played, allowing not in any of this. But the trouble is for Yagiz is that he is down to 1 minute on the clock, while Levon has way over 1 hour, and it's going to be very difficult to make these 15 moves. Here rook to f7 was played, but just rook to e1, queen to c2, and just rook to e2, asking for a queen trade. Queen captures, rook captures. Queen trades only help him, because he's the one who's down on the clock. A rook to c3 was played, king to g2, and rook captures on a3. So what do you even do in this position? Here rook to e1 was trying to maybe just create some complications in the position. He is the one who's better in the position. He has to push, but here just going for knight to c3, and now just comes attacking the knight. d4 now defending, but just e captures. We have rook captures. Now just rook to e4. Rook to e4 is a very nice move, saying that, I'm just going to be grabbing this pawn, and unfortunately for you, you cannot capture. Knight caps on e4. If you go rook to c8 check, king moves, rook has to block only move. Rook captures, king to h7, and rook to h8 would be checkmate. But here after rook to e4, obviously Levon has so much time. He can see all of these tactics in his sleep. Here he goes for e5, and obviously not capturing the rook. Here just rook caps on e5 was played, but just a5 now trying to create some counterplay. But here just rook to e8 check, and that is going to be bugging you for a long time. Here king to f7, and only made possible because of pushing that pawn all the way. I told you your position would become very, very weak after that, and that's exactly what happened. Here, rook to e7 check was played, but just king to g8, b caps on a5, rook captures, rook to e8 check, king to f7, and rook to e7 check, king moves. You could go for a perpetual here. Basically the thing is that it's very, very easy to go for a perpetual, but the problem is you are the one who's better in the position. You should be the one pushing for a win. Why are you going for a perpetual? With that in mind, he goes for rook to d7, just not going for repeating moves. b5 was played, but just comes rook caps on d4, and but that perpetual thing only existed because of the fact that he's very, very down on the clock. And when I say very, I mean very. He has like 1 minute on the clock, and it's very difficult to play like this. Here rook to a3, but just rook to c1, king to h7, rook to d8, and just rook caps on g6. Now Levon has to do something about that knight, so he sacrificed the exchange, because now otherwise he would have gotten checkmated. Now just comes up captures, king captures, rook to e1 was played, but after rook to a7, now he doesn't have much in this position. He knows it as well. Otherwise, if he blunders, here Yagiz, only then he would have something in the position. Otherwise he has nothing. Rook to e6 was played, king to f7, but now just comes rook to b6, and now I'm eyeing the pawn. Next I'm going to be eyeing the knight. Your king is weak. This position is not looking very good. Levon is an exchange down. Here rook to c7 was tried by Levon, but just king to f1, g6, and rook d to d6 was played. But it was on this move, on just move 49, that Levon Aronian resigned the game, and Yagiz Kaan got this spectacular victory in just 49 moves against Levon. He's a really, really experienced player, and beating a player of his caliber in 49 moves, definitely a really amazing feat that he's been able to achieve in this tournament. And just 14 years of age and playing like this is absolutely amazing. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. Thank you very, very much for watching.